Cool. All right, recording. Sweet. So thank you guys that have jumped in the call. I really appreciate you guys showing up for these. It's hopefully an awesome experience for everybody, and our biggest sort of like, webinar series that we have going right now with Remote Year. So basically, we got a special guest here, and he'll be doing the first half of the presentation just on his deck. And you guys can feel free to use the question and answer box or the chat box throughout the whole talk in case you have something that pops in your mind that you don't want to forget for the very end. We should hopefully have about 10 minutes at the end to ask Mike as many questions as we can fit into this half an hour. And then also just for you to know, this is getting recorded, as I just mentioned, so it'll be added to the Knowledge Drop archive, and you'll be able to share this with anybody after it's over, or watch it again later if you're interested, or to check out all the previous Knowledge Drops that have happened. I think this is Knowledge Drop number 14. So we've been doing these for a bit now, and very exciting. Reach out to me if you ever have an idea for a Knowledge Drop that you'd like to give someday in the future. But today is Mr. Mike Raven, so I'll pass it over to you, man. Thanks for being here, and thanks for wanting to do this. It's awesome.
Perfect. Okay, let's make sure that everyone can see my screen.
I see it perfectly.
Is that good?
Beautiful, man. Perfect. Thanks.
Okay. So, yeah, thanks, Trav. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, inviting me along to the Knowledge Drop community. So I'm Mike Raven. I've just finished the Remote Year program with Ikigai. So I'm now a citizen, have been for the last 3 or 4 days. So that's, yeah, super exciting. You've probably guessed by now, I'm from a very small island called Great Britain that thinks it's much more important and greater than it actually is. And yeah, I'm here to talk to you about accelerating projects. I'm here to talk to you about really how you can go about starting a business and what some of my experiences has been on Remote Year, utilizing the talent that's around us, the immense talent that's in our community, and yeah, just making big leaps, excuse the pun, in your projects and hopefully in your careers as well. So I'll try and keep it in the time frames. I know we started a little bit late in technology, but yeah, let's get cracking. So here's one of my favorite quotes in the world from one of the most eccentric and brilliant minds that's probably ever existed, Lewis Carroll. And I think it's really relevant for who we are, especially in this Remote Year community, that actually just to stay still, we've got to keep running really fast. But if we want to move on with our careers and with our lives, then we have to run twice as fast. So it's one of my mottos. One of my sayings that my partner and I use a lot when we talk to clients is that we might as well go big or we might as well go home. There's no point doing anything half-assed. So what am I going to drop today? This new approach to innovation. This is what Leaps is. Leveraging the talent in the nation. How to turn our mindsets, and I imagine most of ours are quite experimental, open, curious mindsets, and turning them into rewards. And I guess I'm slightly qualified for this. I never really believed that because we're all qualified just about to talk about anything. But you know, I've surrounded myself with interesting, inquisitive people all my life. I've tried to start a business. It's in the very early stages, and organizations are using it already. So there must be something about it. So here we are, Leaps, and I'm going to explain to you what it is, just give you a bit of context. I'll go into a bit of detail and examples of how I've used loads of the talent around our community and ways that we can perhaps collaborate and make some impact. So Leaps is a proven approach to innovation. It's a way to create ideas and to validate them. It's also a way to accelerate business challenges and projects and creating new strategies. So this all happens within days. This is the challenge that I took on, to create something that could accelerate any project by months in a matter of days. It was created and launched in about 6 weeks. I was really thankful and lucky to have 5 other remotes help me across 2 other Remote Year programs to get it launched. And we had a 5-figure first month. We've now got 8 new partners on board in month 2, and we got a solid plan in place for the next 3 years. So what is LEAPS? It's a five-step process, and it stands for landscape, envisaging, agreeing, prototyping, and screening. So that's our process. It usually takes anything from 1 to 5 days and involves 7 to 10 people in an organization. Can be less, can be a bit more, but kind of that's the model. It involves a whole range of different ideas to approaching challenges. So we've experienced over the last decade or more a multitude of workshops and methods, from design sprints from Google to MVP programs, acceleration programs. And we kind of took the bits that worked, developed them, got rid of the ones that we thought didn't work, and created our own model. And here's an example, just a few of them that we've created. I think there's 12 methods overall. And I'd love to share some of these in more detail at a later date if anyone's really interested. So we can look at that later. So yes, it is modular. Like I said, it's a 5-stage process, so you don't have to use all 5 stages, but it's most powerful when you do. And trying to keep it within 2 weeks, if possible, is best. But it's not the solution for everything. Yes, the methods can be used, but we're not saying we've got a one glove fits all solution to any business challenge. So when we created the company, just to give you some context, we asked ourselves, what's our big purpose? And some people refer it to as MTP. It's a massive transformational purpose. And we created the business to really try and help unite and inspire and accelerate the best of humanity and the best of business. So that's where we decided to launch from and create this around market challenges that exist. And here's a few on here. I won't read them out, but as we're sharing the presentation afterwards, you can look at it in more detail if it's interesting. So that's really important. When you do start a business focused on existing challenges and find a new way to solve them. So there's a few more there. Really, I think really important and relevant for you if you want to start a business this year, if you're involved in a new startup, if you own your own business, or perhaps you're a project manager in a maybe a larger organization, and actually giving you some tools to get yourself noticed, which I know is a challenge for a lot of us when we're working remotely, to get your bosses to say, hey, this guy's doing something different for us. That could really help and go a long way. And that can actually show that you're really collaborating with other people on remote year. So what have we done so far within LEAPS? So we've worked with the United Nations so far. We've worked with companies like Thomson Reuters, with IBM Watson and Vodafone, as well as a number of startups, just to really help accelerate projects. So a lot of that is in proposition development, idea generation, in looking at the bigger picture and choosing which projects to actually focus on, and how to do that in a different way, because so many people and organizations are stuck in rigid, old, stagnant ways of doing things. One example I'll give is where in an agency that I was working in the first 6 months of remote year, we had an opportunity to pitch to 14 giant brands in the space of 2 weeks. And we have no way of doing that. And I said, well, give me some of the projects and pitches, and I'm going to try and create a team within Ikigai, within our remote year program. And I just reached out, said, who's interested? And there was then 10 or 12 of us who were locked away in a room for 2 weeks, putting together really, really inspirational pitches for these huge organizations. And that was an incredible experience, and one that just shows you that people are up for it, especially people in remote year who have, curious minds, are up for trying something. So that was a really pinnacle moment for me in my remote year experience. I thought I'd share some outcomes from LEAPS programs, as we call them. So one of the programs was about testing and creating global marketing strategies within artificial intelligence in the law industry. And they created 3 new initiatives, tested and validated with huge clients. So that was a great outcome. one of the UK's biggest private health providers wanted to create a way of generating new proposition ideas. So we engaged a Leaps program that actually got over 200 employees involved. They then had a number of ideas that they took to development, and now 3 have moved into full development. And now they have a full proposition team off the back of it. So that was a great outcome. And actually one of Britain's top tea companies wanted to just spend a day just looking at holistically what projects that they should prioritize. And they've got a load of ideas, a load of things they could be doing. They haven't got endless resources. And so that was a really good way for them to take a helicopter view of their organization, of the ideas that they've got, and actually put them through a process that validates some of them and gives them a lot more clarity of where to invest their resources, their time, their people, their money, etc. So hope that gives a bit of clarity into the outcomes that can be achieved. We have 3 different programs. They are really they're really flexible, but there's a 1, a 3, and then a 3-day, and then a kind of bespoke program that can be built. And I go back here to our purpose. When we created the organization, and I said we had this massive transformational purpose, and we did some work with the United Nations, and I'm talking to their global goals team, realized just how relevant this was for business. And we have 17 goals. And if you've not seen these, I really recommend going and taking a look, because you can really align anything you do in the future, any business, any project you put together to these goals, because that will have a true positive impact on the world. And we're working really hard with the UN to really integrate the way we work into some of their agencies. And we're going over to Vienna to spend some time with them in a couple of weeks' time. So if you want to talk more about the global goals, just hit me up, because I love talking about them. So I know this has been a bit of a whistle-stop tour of Leaps. You're probably still thinking, what the hell is it? And there is a website, of course, and there's a bunch of videos which hopefully explain it much better than I ever could. Lots of content and blogs to be involved in. So I'd love to engage with some people off the back of this. We have an advocate, like a referral program in place. So it's a chance to learn about it. You might think, this company should be using this, and you make a recommendation or a referral, and there's some cash to be made. You also might be somebody who's more of a coach or facilitator, and you think, hey, I could perhaps use some of these methods in what I do. So get in touch. We're training 8 new facilitators across the world right now, from Zurich to Toronto, Chicago, England, of course. If that's you, get in touch. Also, if you think, do you know what, this is, already we're doing some work in my organization with the UN Global Goals, or this purpose really resonates with me, get in contact, because we're trying to form some impact partnerships, which is really just a way for 2 companies to scratch each other's backs to try and make some positive, really great stuff happen in the world. So again, that might be something that you want to reach out for. We're also hiring. I've been active on the old Slack job board. So we're trying to accelerate quickly, get an investment in, and there's some roles there. And we're going to run future webinars, that are open to anyone, that will be kind of scheduled from probably Q4 this year onwards. So we'd love for you guys to register and be on our mailing list, so that we can keep you update. Not too much stuff. We just send out stuff maybe once a week. But yeah, that would be really great.
Are you guys planning to be a fully remote company too, Mike, or like all these jobs you guys are hiring for and all that?
Absolutely, yeah. The whole company will be remote. We'll be running programs all over the world, and lots of stuff happening behind the scenes online. So really trying to embrace what I've experienced and learned this year and put it into practice. Hence I'm in Madrid right now. So I've finished remote year, but hey, I'm in Madrid for some reason. Trav asked me to put together some kind of do's and don'ts, but do watch our videos. Like I said, register with us, get informed. Love for you to join our community. We have a LinkedIn community as well. more importantly, I think, actually really get to explore the skill sets of the people around you, their mindsets, what their dreams are, what they're great at. And who knows, I've worked with over 15 remotes this year across 2 or 3 different programs, and it's been some of the best experiences that I've had. And there are some geniuses around. So on that, be experimental. Don't just carry on this year doing all the stuff, all the stuff you've always done, just churning out projects or work the way you've always done it. This is your chance to do something different. So don't procrastinate like the procrastinating monkey. We've all probably seen that TED talk. I'm the worst example of that. And also one thing that I've learned is to not overload your back burner, not to put things on hold. If you're going to put them on hold, usually they're probably not worth doing. In most cases, you can probably get rid of 90% of things on your to-do list because you'll never get around to them. So that's about being decisive. And never miss an opportunity. Keep your eyes open around the nation and around, certainly the sort of startups and things like that, because I really believe that the luck doesn't exist. And there's a great quote that I heard once, and I think it was around, something like that. What we ascribe to as luck isn't luck at all. It's life is just a series of near misses, and if we put ourselves in the right place at the right time, eventually something big will happen. And I've actually shared one of my favorite not TED talks, just a YouTube kind of talk that's by a guy called Stephen Johnson. Some of you might have seen it, and it's it's just around ideas. And we've all got a load of ideas, I'm sure, about starting businesses or how to solve projects. And we all might think that there's these, bath moments where you're sat in a bath or something hits you on the head, and just you suddenly have this genius idea. But actually, it's usually just a seed, that one person cannot ever grow to its full fruition on their own. And with so many people around us in remote year, genius people, it's a great opportunity to help that seed grow. And there's a great video that I'll share at the end of this presentation that I really recommend you watching. It's only 5 minutes, and it's quite inspiring. Well, it was for me, for sure.
Is that the one that you put into the general channel, or is this a different one?
No, it's different. It's different.
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So some homework. I'm sure you all really want homework to do, but maybe have a think about some of your challenges. In your own business, in the projects you're working on, or for a startup idea, and get in touch. See if I can help at all, or just take that challenge and just invite some people out for a coffee, or hire a room wherever your workspace is. Grab some people, throw them in that room, and say, "I've got a challenge. Can you help?" And just be really honest, be inquisitive. Things like the UN global goals. If that's something that you want to learn a bit more about, you feel like you want to make a bigger impact on the world. A lot of people come through remote year and seem to find that as something that resonates with them, that they actually want to do something more impactful. Then have a look, and I'd love to talk to you more about the global goals. I think they can really change the world. So there's my contact details, all on there: LinkedIn, Twitter, blah blah blah. There's the YouTube clip for you to take a look at that 4-minute video if you've got 4 minutes to spare. I guess we're open now for any questions.
Awesome, man. That was great. I got a bunch of questions myself, but hopefully some of you guys pop some into this question and answer box. We got about 5 minutes left. I'll just kick it off though. My first question that popped up as you were going through is, that you had like a slide and then also like another half slide around like all the sort of market challenges that you were hoping to address through like the strategic plan of the leaps. If you had to say like there's like the top one or like one main one that kind of speaks to the core of what this can help address, what's like the one that rises to the surface, you think, above the rest?
I think it's one, it's a great question, thanks. I think it's one that kind of can be split into two, depending on whether you're an established organization or a startup. And that's about really validating your new proposition idea or ideas before you invest really heavily in them, because they'll get validated by the market within days, with real people, the end user, the end customer, partners that you might be partnering with to make it happen. So if you're a startup, and before you just throw everything into something, it can be 1 to 3 days, and it can be validated quickly and without too much expense. And likewise, if you're a large organization, you will have so many ideas within the business, and probably really valid ones, but they're only valid within your group of people. They haven't been validated by your customers or your future customers. And actually, your future customers are probably very, very different to your customers now, because the world is going to massively change in the next couple of years in terms of technology, artificial intelligence, the impact of virtual reality and augmented reality. There's going to be some huge changes to every single industry. And we're part of a network called Singularity University. And that's part of some of the top thinkers in the world who gather in San Francisco to run programs about how that technology is going to affect industry. And so we've got, we like to think, a little bit of knowledge to back up some of the work that we do. Hope that helps. Travis, you're on mute.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, awesome, man. Just saying, like, the world is such a fast changing place right now. You got to make sure that you're like headed in the right direction. We have a couple more questions that came in. Try to squeeze in here. So Taylor asks, what range of roles did you hire from remotes this year?
So I missed the first part of that. You broke up.
Sorry, what kind of range of different roles did you hire from remote year as you were starting to build this out? Or just range of skill sets, I guess, too.
I've just got a frozen Travis right now and no sound. I'm going to try this.
You can you see the comment box? Oh, there we go.
There we go. That's better.
Awesome. So yeah, this is a question for Taylor. She's just asking, what range of roles did you hire from within remote year?
Okay. Yeah, great question. So I've been working with developers to build my website and other kind of autonomies within email. Been working with marketing people, social media experts, content marketeers, just entrepreneurs. Just bringing them in to advise, and it's amazing what sometimes just spending an afternoon with somebody can do. But really, I've now kind of full-time, I've hired somebody from Ikigai, and I'm hoping to very soon hire someone else from the remote year program full-time. So yeah, I think, through the kind of entrepreneurs, business owners, and kind of the marketing and developer side of things more than anything.
Awesome. But yeah, a really wide range. And then Nicole asked a couple questions. First one being, is that an old school TV behind you? And like, what sort of hotel room are you in? And the second question that's a little more on topic is, how did you find organizations to work with? I always think that finding that first client is the toughest to work with. How did you do it? How did you get your first few clients in the door?
Yeah, great question. One of the challenges that we all face. I think it was about leveraging your own network and the network of those around you. The more people you can make aware of your service, of the challenge that you can solve for them, then the better chance you have of getting, that most important first client. And it was somebody that I'd worked with previously. Just making that communication when you've launched to say, hey, can I just tell you what I'm up to? And because I'm sure you've got a challenge that I could help with. And if you just reach out to the right people, you're really honest about it, you're not pushy, then hopefully you can get a good result, and start with those that are closest to you, those that you could easily pick up the phone with and go for a beer with, because they're the ones that are really going to listen to you first. And then they've all got networks, so you just get your networks get bigger and bigger. Amazing.
Sweet, thank you. And we got a few more questions coming in, but Shuli, I'm just going to encourage you to reach out to Mike, assuming that's okay. Mike, is it cool people reach out to you on Slack about everything? So she's got
Absolutely.
questions about the UN goals, which is a great thing to be curious about. As you were saying, like I hope everybody looks a little bit more into that. It's awesome, and it's a great universal strategic plan to like try to help some of the world's problems. So
Yeah, absolutely.
thanks for bringing that to us today. Thanks for bringing all of this to us today, Mike. It's been an awesome knowledge drop. Thank you again to all you guys that joined us. And yeah, this has been recorded, so feel free to share it in the future from the knowledge drop archive. And we'll do this again 2 weeks from now. So cheers, everybody. I'll write you in a minute, Mike. But thanks again, everybody. And